So let's talk about what makes a girl actually like you and the single number one trait that they cannot resist. Once you own this trait, once you harness this trait, you're going to be an attractive man. So listen till the end. Now, when it comes to dating, most men are actually following their emotional impulses. She's not texting me, let me chase her, let me send her some long paragraphs. She's not replying back to me, let me just talk to her, let me just call her multiple times. Now, what that means is you're going weak for her. Now, when a woman actually knows that you're going weak for her, your value depletes in her eyes. When your value depletes, the attraction depletes. Hey bro, I hope you are enjoying the video that you're watching. Now, if you want to dive deep into female psychology, you want a casual relationship, maybe you want multiple casual relationships, maybe you want a fulfilling, loving relationship. You want to learn how to attract a girl, how to approach a girl, how to text a girl, how to get online dating matches. I'm doing a masterclass the coming week and the link is going to be in the pinned comment. Slots are going to be extremely limited, so make sure that you sign up for that masterclass. Now you need to understand that modern day advice of being yourself makes men act on their impulses. Now I had one of my really good friends, we did a podcast together in this studio itself, and he gave this very advice: just be yourself.
What you want is to get to that space, stay there, learn that part, then fail at it, and then start looking again.
Now I don't condone this advice in any way, shape or form, because you need to understand, if you just be yourself, if you just act according to your emotions, whatever you're feeling, then you're not that masculine, then you're not that competent. You need to understand that women are attracted to a competent man. And what is a competent man at the end of the day? At the end of the day, a competent man is a person who's calm in the middle of adversity. He's not running here and there. So if you're acting on your emotions, if you're just being yourself, right? If the girl is not calling you, you're like, okay, be myself. What do I feel like? I feel like sending a long text. I feel like expressing how I feel, right? And once you actually do that, the woman loses attraction for you. The woman is going to lose attraction for you no matter what you think about that, no matter you think, oh, I'm just opening up to this girl. The reality is, all of these traits are going to kill attractiveness. Now, women love a competent man. A man is not competent until he has a control on his emotions. Now, let me give you an example. Let's take Will Smith for the example, right? Is Will Smith a competent man? He's highly successful. He's probably amazingly rich. He has a lot of social status. But at the end of the day, he does not have a control over his emotions. He does not have a control over his woman. He's still chasing her and she's treating him like shit over and over again, but he's still stuck in that vicious cycle, and that makes him less of a competent man. So you need to understand, just having money, just having social status does not make you competent at all. So if you want to be a competent man, you got to internalize these 4 traits. At all costs, you got to learn them by heart and you got to live by them. A man should have a bigger purpose than making the woman his purpose. Now I had a client once and this guy really loved this girl. And this girl had to move her city, so he was like, hey man, I'm in love completely and I'm going to move my city as well. And I was like, you have a great job, you have a decent job, a decent career path. And what about all of that? He's like, I'm going to find some work. I'm like, hey man, she's going to Goa. You're not going to find any work over there. I mean, the industry is different. He's like, no, I really love her. I would like to do this for us. And I'm like, okay, this guy is making a big mistake because he's making the woman his purpose. Now, whenever you make something external your purpose, you lose control. And you lose value as well. And when the woman feels that she's the purpose, the value depletes, the attraction depletes. Now I tell this to this guy, but of course he's in love, he's not going to listen, so he moves to Goa and he lives with the girl, right? He does not have a job anymore, he's living off his savings, but he's still financially capable enough to, live over there. And he's living with the girl, it's like 6-7 days. The girl is all happy and she's all emotional, which brings me to the next point. Women's actions are governed by emotions. When emotions change, actions change. So this guy's living with her, she's happy, first 6-7 days are amazing, but then this girl is like, oh, he just invaded my personal space. I didn't want him to invade my personal space. This guy's not making any money, he's not even trying, he's just chilling all the time, he's not doing anything, he doesn't even have a purpose. And the girl is like, okay, let me just go out to the club tonight. So the girl went to the club, met another guy, and when she met that guy, she's like, oh, he's super successful, he's on his purpose, he's acting from his own intent, and he actually likes me. Let me try to date him. Now what happens to the guy who left everything, left his family, left his job, left his career path, went to Goa for that particular girl? He becomes depressed. He, of course, has to move out of the house because it's a girl's house, and he has to come back with a broken heart. Now, so that does not happen to you. Always remember, never make the woman your purpose. Instead, always have a bigger purpose. Now, moving to the next point, opening up with women will make you appear weak. Now, you might be thinking, hey man, that means I have to be by the book with each girl, and that's super unnatural, and that's super not genuine and super not authentic. But hear me out. I have these 2 clients, right, I'm talking to, And I paired these clients up and I'm like, go out with each other and let me know how it goes. Now one client comes to me and he's like, hey man, the guy you sent with me is super advanced. He got like 4 numbers, girls were all, on him, and he also took 2 girls home. So I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. An advanced guy in coaching. I always love people who are advanced in coaching. So I have a call with that guy the next day and I'm just talking to him. I'm like, so I heard pretty good things about your infield session. Now this guy tells me, hey man, I spoke to 4 girls, I got all their numbers. Some of them came to my house as well and we were having a good time, but I don't know, they stopped talking to me. They're not replying to me, they're not texting me back, and I feel like shit. I'm like, okay, let me just go through your text, let me see what the conversation is all about. Now all I could see was him having long paragraph text. Even the women were investing, right? Don't get me wrong, it's not like he was being needy. Even the women were investing, but he was also investing like in long paragraph text. And I'm like, when did you meet? You met this woman last night, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so what exactly happened? What are you sharing with them? And he's like, okay, I'm just sharing with them, how my life is and what's going on in my life, what's my purpose and all of that. Now, whenever you do that, women feel that you're sort of overcompensating for the lack of your masculinity. And you should always keep the conversations fun and lighthearted, at least initially. Now, that means that you cannot open up to women, and what you might think like opening up, actually there is no such thing as opening up, because you're not gonna open up, from a cocoon to a butterfly. Right? You're just gonna share your experiences. So there's a right way of opening up and there's a wrong way of opening up. Now let me give you an example. Now imagine your day is going like shit. It's raining. You're going to work. You get drenched in the rain. You slip in the mud. There's a car that comes, puts some mud on you, and you reach the office and the boss is like, hey man, you have a presentation. What the fuck are you wearing? And it's all very disgusting. You're disgusted by the day and you're expecting a raise. You're expecting a promotion. But the boss says, man, look at your outfit. You don't deserve a promotion. And he's shouting at you. And you have a really bad day and your girl calls and she's like, hey, sweetheart, we're going out for dinner tonight. And you're like, yeah, sweetheart, we can, but I want to cancel it because I had such a bad day. I got drenched in the rain. I slipped in the mud. My boss is shouting at me. He's a dick. I'm not getting my promotion. Life has just not been good today to me. Now, what happens when you do that is the woman loses all attraction. She's going to cancel the date and probably the relationship. But there is a way of expressing all of that in the right way. And the right way is, hey, sweetheart, I had a bad day, but don't worry, I'm gonna get over it. But let's cancel today and let's reschedule for tomorrow. Now, you're still expressing yourself. You're still opening up that you had a bad day. She might ask you a couple of questions. What happened? You can just give her some brief pointers. You don't have to explain her each and everything. The moment you start going in the explanation mode is the time the woman loses attraction. So make sure you do not go in an explanation mode. And over the period of time, as time passes, as your relationship bond becomes stronger, you can slowly open up. But if you think that a woman is going to be your therapist on the first date, you're completely wrong. She's going to judge you. She's going to not look at you as a long-term partner, and she's not even going to look at you as a friend. Because who wants to be a friend with a friend who's always complaining? So make sure that you do not do this mistake. Always the image you want to project in a girl's head is you're a man on his purpose and you're going to sort shit out. No matter what the world throws at you, you're going to be calm and centered. Now, which also gets me to my next point, player's dilemma. Now, for all you guys who are actually getting good results, or who you might think that you're getting good results, maybe you're getting a date a month, you might think that you're a player, and there's the player's dilemma as well. Now, this happens to me from time to time as well, and what happens exactly is you meet so many girls, you're going out to clubs, you're going out, social circle parties, house parties, you're meeting so many women, online dating, that you become sort of a player and you're like, man, I'm meeting so many girls and none of them are actually interesting. I'm just wasting my time meeting all these girls and maybe this girl is different. Now you want that girl to be different, right? So you want to be different with her and you want to leave all the textbook game or the textbook approach and I just want to be honest and genuine with her. And what you do is you express yourself, you overly express yourself because you're dating all these girls you're not attracted to, maybe you're not interested in emotionally, you're attracted to them physically but not emotionally, and then once you find a girl who's emotionally attractive, physically attractive, she's on a shit, she's on a purpose, you just go weak. I hope you can agree that whenever you go weak, you actually lose the girl, you end up losing the girl. So the point is, even if you're a player, even if you're a guy who's getting it, even if you're a guy who's going out on multiple dates, never fall prey to the player's dilemma, which is, you might think that she's different, you might think that you can close the book now, but the moment you close the book is the moment you're losing the war. So it brings me to my next point, which is everything that is genuine, caring, thoughtful, overly expressing, sweet, is anti-seductive. Now let me explain this. Everything that is coming from a place that, oh, I really like this girl, I really care about her, maybe you match with a girl on Tinder and she's sick, right? She's sick, she's dealing with a high fever, and you're like, I really care about this girl is so sweet. hey, excuse me, sweetheart, do you want me to send home cooked food? Do you want me to pick you up and go to the doctor with you? And the moment you start doing this is you're being overly expressive, you're overly caring, you're being thoughtful. You might be thinking that you're being thoughtful, but let me just ask you this. Would you do that for a friend? Would you actually do that for a friend? Are you that person who's that caring in his life, or are you just being caring because you want a certain outcome? Now, you might be thinking, I don't want any outcome. I really like her. I really love her. You want to be in a relationship with her. You probably want to get laid. You probably might not have ill intentions, but you just want to be in a good books. Even that makes it all of this very manipulative. But if you're that person who's that caring for any of his friends, if your friend has fallen sick, you're doing that for your friend as well, right? If the girl needs a ride back home from the club, if you do that for your friend as well, I mean, that's you being caring. But if you're just doing it for the girl, then that's you being manipulative. And women can actually see that manipulation, they can spot it right on, and the attractiveness goes down. So women often enter relationships with men who are caring and kind, but they often sleep with the so-called bad boys faster. Now, explaining the bad boy trait is a story for another video, which I'll do, and I'll link that video towards the end of this, so do check it out. But for now, do you actually have to be a bad boy to sleep with women? Let me explain. I want to explain this point with a story that happened to me quite recently. So I went out on a Bumble date once, and the date was pretty good. We had a good time. Ended up at her place on the first date, and then we had another Bumble date the second time. Now this time I was actually going out for a night game session. I was going out to the club, and this girl texted me, "Hey, do you want to catch up?" I'm like, "Sure, I can catch up." Then she's like, "I'm on a date actually," and I'm like, "Cool. Then you want to still catch up?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, meet me after your date ends." Like, that's perfect. So I pick her up after her date ends, and we go back to my place, and I'm just talking to her. We're on the bed, and I'm just talking to her, and I'm looking deep into her eyes, and I'm like, "Okay, so how did your date go?" And this girl is like, "It was one of the best dates I've had this year." I'm like, "That's interesting. So you like the guy?" She's like, "Yeah, he's a very nice and a very kind guy." I'm like, "Okay, so why are you with me and not him at this point?" And the girl is like, "Because he's a nice and a kind guy, I want to take things slow. And I know you have a lot of goals in your life. You're non-judgmental. You're a cool dude. So it's all right. I want to spend this time with you, but I think that is going to be a relationship. When I get into a relationship, I'm going to stop talking to you." I'm like, "That's perfectly fine with me, but don't you think you should be with him right now?" She's like, No. I want to take things slow because I think that's what he's going to like." So understand that women do this subconsciously, right? So if you present an image that, "Hey, I'm a nice guy and I like a nice woman who doesn't sleep with the guy on the first day," then she's not going to sleep with you on the first day. But if you present an image that you actually don't care, you don't care about sleeping with the girl, you have a bigger purpose in your life, you're just having fun, you're just flirting, and it's healthy flirting, and if it goes there, it goes there. If it does not, it's a bonus. Doesn't happen. Now if you show that kind of a vibe to the girl, a completely non-validation seeking, no outcome dependency, like just acting from your own intent, if you show that kind of a vibe to a girl, she's going to get massively attracted and she's going to hook up with you on the first night. But if you show her a judgmental vibe, for example, if you ask her, "Oh, so do you go to the club? Do you drink?" If you just show her this much, she's going to know that you want to judge her for sleeping with you on the first day, and she's not going to do that. Now, does that mean you got to be a bad boy? Not really. You don't have to be a bad boy. You have to be yourself, but you don't also have to please her. You have to act from your own intent, you have to have your own opinions, your own decisions, and you don't have to change your plans just because of her. Now, doing all of this is going to help you acquire that number one trait that women love, which is going to be non-neediness. Extreme non-neediness. Women need a guy who doesn't need them. Women want a guy who doesn't actually need them in their lives. When you're ready to let a woman go, that's one of the most attractive traits in a man. Now let me explain how you can harness non-neediness. Now if you want to harness non-neediness, do not make of the woman your purpose. She will lose attraction. I've already mentioned this. I'm telling you about this again because this is a very big point. Now focus on creating an abundant lifestyle. Abundant in the sense of your relationships, your wealth, your health. You need to focus on creating an abundant lifestyle. Now once you have an abundant lifestyle, you're in a position where you can pick and choose. And once you can pick and choose, you can choose the best option for yourself. So it's very important to have an abundant lifestyle apart from the woman you're dating as well. Because if you do not, then you're going to make her the center of your universe, the reservoir of your positive emotions, and that's going to hurt you in the long run. Approach women, talk to women, date women, but never chase women. Now this is my number one rule when it comes to dating is I'll approach women, I'll talk to women, I'll date women, I love feminine energy, but I'm never going to chase a woman. I'm never going to send a double text. Maybe, if I've sent her a text, she's not replying to me, I'm not going to text her again. Simple as that. If she's replying to me, she wants to go out on a date with me, she flakes on me, I'm going to set a strong boundary that if this happens the next time, I'm not going to text her again. Because you need to understand, as a man, your self-respect, your self-identity has to be above any woman, no matter how pretty she is, no matter, she can be the most gorgeous woman on planet Earth, but you cannot let your self-identity and your self-respect go down because of her. Now, moving on. So lastly, what you need to do with your time. Spend 90% of your time improving your sexual market value. Now, what is your sexual market value? Your sexual market value is your physical appearance, your personality, your social status, and your social skills. Social skills is being one of the most important when it comes to sexual market value. Of course, there's physical appearance. Now, if you're a guy who's scrawny, what that means for you is go hit the gym. If you're a guy who's obese, go hit the gym. If you're a guy who doesn't have a lot of personality, if you're a guy who's been an introvert all his life, go out and socialize more. If you're a guy who does not have a lot of money, maybe you're a college kid, don't have any social status, work on building that up. Do not get misled or misdirected by women. Of course, you should have women that you're dating in your life, but you should not go emotionally crazy for them. Keep a control on your emotions, keep a check on your emotions. The last thing, which is social skills, which according to me is one of the most important things because it's going to help you in each aspect of your life. You need to work on social skills through repetition. You need to go out, take action, come back home, reflect on that shit, go out again, take action again, come back home and reflect on it. It's a hard thing, but it's the most rewarding thing that you'll ever do in your life. Now, when you do all of this, to harness non-neediness, what happens is pre-selection kicks in. And that is a trait that they cannot resist. Now, let me give you an overview about pre-selection. Now, pre-selection is when you actually become an attractive male and you're attracting women at will. And other women can see other women getting attracted at you, and that makes you a brand. That makes you a brand in the woman's eyes. And when you actually become a brand in the woman's eyes, what happens is, without doing anything, without putting a conscious effort, women are getting attracted to you. And once you actually get at this stage, your dating life becomes sort of automatic and you don't even have to put in an effort. Now, if you want to get at this stage, you want to reach the stage of pre-selection, you want me to personally help you reach that particular stage, schedule a call with my team and let's see if you're the right fit to work together.